What's up, fantasy managers? Thank you for watching the Fantasy Football Show. If you made it this far, if you could please give us a subscription, like, and comment, we appreciate it. On today's episode, Tyler and I are going to go over mid-round gems, players you want to aim for, target for, that can help your fantasy football draft. These are going to be timestamps, so if there's certain players or rounds you're looking into, just go to the timestamps, you may find them. With that being said, enjoy the show.
Hey, what's up, fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard youth wolf, coming at you live from Vancouver, Washington, home of the Grizzlies. No, that's the other Vancouver. Anyways, we are together for the first time in 9 months, and this is the Fantasy Football Show.
Thank you. For all the 200 people to join us, thank you. We appreciate you fitting in my small apartment.
Today's episode, we've got some mid-round gems coming at you. So mid-round is considered defined as round 6 to 10. It is weird having Jason right here.
I know, this is like, so I'm like, I can't stop laughing over the littlest stuff.
So we've got some players that we think stand out. We're going to do, one quarterback, one wide receiver, one running back, and we would do tight ends, but that's kind of like a tight end dead zone, as far as we're concerned, you either want to get a tight end early or just wait till the very end. So we didn't even really bother with these mid rounds with a tight end. Jason, do you agree with that?
Yeah, on board.
See, I say we, and I just assume.
Yeah, no, yeah. You're right. I'm on board with that.
So before we get into all that, Jason, look at that camera and tell the public how they can help this show because we need it.
Hey, if you guys made it this far, thank you. If you could give us a little bit of a subscription, that'd be nice. If you could give us a like, we like the likes. Give us those likes. And you can even leave a comment. We love the interaction. This is just like different with you right here, man. We love the interaction with you people, even with the douchebags. We enjoy it. If you want some more additional content, please follow us on Instagram with the tag The Fantasy Football Show.
Thank you, Jason. So, man, we got 3 subscribers on a video. We're trying to figure out this whole algorithm stuff. Hey, shout out to Extension. I know it's not Extension 69. He is not the rat. This is like the opposite of a rat. This is Extension, the original Extension 1. Shout out to him. Thank you. So, first off, quarterbacks, Jason. I'm going to let you go first. Who do you have?
So, would you like to do the barbecue question of the week?
First off, barbecue question of the week. We're going to steal this one from the Rich Eisen Show. We're commenting on the Rich Eisen Show because that's my main man. And we're going to try to get notice. So anyways, there was a question, a poll on that. Jason knows about it. Let's go to him.
All right. So for the barbecue question of the week is where we answer the questions that you want to know. And this week's question is basically what Tyler said from the Rich Eisen Show. Who's going to have the better season in the quarterbacks? Is it going to be Justin Fields or Justin Herbert?
So I answered, I love Justin Fields' ceiling. They got him, Paris, whatever his name is from USC. I can't remember if it was, no, that was the Cardinals that got the Paris guy.
Paris Campbell.
They got some other offensive tackle early. I think he was from Tennessee. I remember that because I was watching a lot of Tennessee tape for the quarterback. Anyways, and they got him DJ Moore. So now he's got a full, he's got good skill positions and another offensive lineman. And he's going to run the hell out of the ball. So, I do think that, Justin Fields' ceiling, percentage-wise, is not very probable, but is higher than Justin Herbert's. But Justin Herbert has been downplayed. You just listen to Austin Eckler on all these podcasts and everything. It's like, dude, people don't realize how hurt he was last season. He got a Mike Williams clone for when Mike Williams falls apart inevitably, he's going to fall apart. These guys can take turns falling apart because this guy's injury-prone too. And Austin Eckler re-signed with Kellen Moore. He's got the 3rd easiest schedule of all, fantasy quarterbacks. He has 9 good fantasy matchups, and I think he's got 2 during the playoffs. So yeah, dude, as far as the whole situation, if you just want to check boxes and everything like that, it's 2 boxes for Justin Fields and 7 for Herbert. I do like Herbert. I think they're going around almost the same exact location. I think Justin Fields is the first pick of the 7th or something right now, and then Herbert's I think right after that. So I'm all about that Herb, man. If we're in Washington, where Herbert can walk around wherever he wants, man. Herb is legal to go wherever he wants.
Yeah, I totally agree with you too. Like Justin Fields, he's probably going to lead his team in rushing, but he's not going to be able to throw the ball because he can't throw the ball. Yeah, they got him more weapons, but they're still going to utilize this guy to run the ball. And also, one thing I'm afraid of with Justin Fields and running the ball is that he's going to take more hits this year. He's going to take more hits. So unless he get his accuracy improves, I'm still going to say Justin Herbert because he's got awesome weapons on this team. And he was down in his touchdowns last year, but I think he was still like 29 or 25, something like that. But I think, this year they were adding another playmaker, Quentin Johnston, that he's going to have a great year. He's going to do a lot better. I think he's going to have better fantasy value than Justin Fields. Also, for the record, we had something like this, and it came up on TikTok, and this guy commented, it was like, he goes against the Chiefs twice, and he got 2 interceptions against them last year. And I'm like, well, bro, in a total of 2 games, he threw for 500 yards and a total of 5 touchdowns. So those 2 interceptions, I'm like, yeah, he still scorched that defense. I'm bringing that up because I think in the playoffs he does play the Chiefs. So he's got a pretty good schedule. He's got a good playoff schedule. I like him.
There you go. Barbecue question of the week coming at you.
Try tip. Try this tip. Nah, just don't try this tip.
Dawson Para. Hey, man. You like try tip? Want to try some of this tip?
Meat.
All right, guys.
Butcher.
Getting straight into the quarterbacks. We're going to go over first. We just went over a quarterback in the same tier as some of these. But, Jason, who do you have for somebody that stands out, mid-round miracle, mid-round, I don't know, dude.
I put mid-round magicians.
Magician. Meteorites shooting through space.
That's pretty good.
Fire.
God, I wish I had that. I like the on fire part. Because
I was supposed to get to what are those things? A thesaurus, and I was gonna go I was gonna use a thesaurus. It would start with an M.
I use that too.
But I had to finish my notes. It took me a long time to drive here today, people.
Yeah.
I hate Portland. Get better roads.
Traffic. Yes,
fix your
absolutely.
Traffic.
Add another lane, please. Okay, so the first person I want to go off is quarterback Kirk Cousins from Minnesota Vikings. He's going around the 10-11 turn. So sometimes he's going in the 10, sometimes he's going to the 11. Tyler brought his little symbol here to show that he is a Vikings fan. He's going up against my Cowboys fan. Or my Cowboys symbol because I'm the Cowboys fan. I'm thinking whichever one falls off from the TV first is a loser. So mine's taped on there, so I cheated like Bill Belichick.
Please tell me they have fans. Like fans that are Cowboys, just like has like stars and stuff all over it with Cowboys. That's my Cowboys fan.
That's my Cowboys fan.
I'm surrounded by Cowboys fans.
I need to do that. I need to put a star out there.
By Cowboys fans.
Make it like a little tornado in Dallas. Anyway, to get back to the matter here. So I picked Kirk Cousins, and part of the reason why I picked Kirk Cousins is because I feel like this guy, he's never going to get drafted early. He's never going to go before mid-rounds. You get him in the later rounds, and he usually, in an kind of under the radar, but usually ends up pretty well at the end of the season. So last year, he ended up as a quarterback 7 in 2022, and he was going in the 12th round in last year's drafts. Last year, he had 9 games that was over. He scored over his projected points. So, that's more than half. That's great. And then the Vikings, they lost Adam Thielen. He's lost a step. But they went out and got a great wide receiver from USC, Jordan Addison. And it seems like he fits Kevin O'Donnell's system because obviously he threw for 4,500 yards last year and around 30 touchdowns. So looks like he fits in that system. Dalvin Cook, what's happening to him, we don't know. His schedule, he's playing the Raiders, the Lions twice, and the Packers in the fantasy playoffs. In the fantasy playoffs, he's playing these 4 teams. Like I said earlier, he's not sexy. He's not a guy you're like, yeah, Kirk Cousins. Whoa! Whoa! And I think part of the reason is because he does have a very low floor. Tyler, this is your quarterback. He has a very low floor. What happened a lot last year is he had some big plays that would kind of really jump him. Dalvin Cook taking a screen 60 yards. That's going to give him some points. He had Justin Jefferson on his team who had a brilliant year last year. But the final thing is this is a contract year for him. This is a contract year for Kirk Cousins, so this guy wants to ball out so he could get an additional contract and get paid. You like that? You like that?
And they didn't draft it. And they didn't draft Hendon Hooker or any. I don't even think they drafted any quarterback. So
yeah, I don't think so.
They drafted a running back behind Madison. I mean, but other than that, yeah, not too much on the offense. Well, and Jordan Addison, yeah. So yeah, I mean, Jason, what pick was he going?
He's going around the 10-11 turn.
Yeah. So, like we said, dude. So, what is it? Like, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert are going to be far gone. So this is a whole different tier.
Yeah.
But Kirk Cousins, as far as like, I mean, he's in that tier that if you have a strong team around him, you could go to the fantasy playoffs, and win a fantasy championship with Kirk Cousins. So, I mean, I don't think that's that big of a deal. And last year he did benefit from all those, like, dude, what was it, like 11 one-score games?
Yeah.
There were so many games, dude, where they were down so much and all that, like, garbage time. He benefited greatly from garbage time. He was the garbage man last season. Mm. So, like, I just, as a Vikings fan, I'm just like, a lot of those numbers were empty, but, I mean, I don't see anything changing. I do know that we have Brian Flores, and that's going to be a better defense.
Right. He's probably not going to have to throw the ball as much.
I don't think he's going to have as good of a season as he had last season, but I don't think he's going to be bad. I think he's going to be he could still be on your team as a fantasy championship team.
If this guy got 4,500 yards and 29 touchdowns again, and you're getting him in like the 10th, 11th round, I'm okay with that. I really am. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got the number one wide receiver. I mean, It's a quarterback. I mean, the quarterback's going to do well if he's got the number one fantasy wide receiver going too. And you and I both, I think, Justin Jefferson's our number one wide receiver. I don't know if you like Chase over him.
No, Justin Jefferson, number one in the draft, in the fantasy draft.
All right, Jason.
Who you got?
So mine. So you said he's going around 11, right?
Yeah.
So Trevor Lawrence, people. Trevor Lawrence. The only thing that is not going in Trevor Lawrence's favor is that he is number 22 on strength of schedule. So he's got the Ravens week 15. Which is the first week of the fantasy playoffs. I don't know if you noticed that. But, like, the Ravens defense could be really good this year. I don't know. It's just kind of scary. Like, I don't like the idea of playing the Ravens late in the season and cold. But Trevor Lawrence, man, round 8. So he's going in round 8. Say pick 3, but that just happens to be, like, the average of what he was going for, like, a couple days ago. 2 rounds later than Justin Herbert. So I have him and Justin Herbert on the same tier. I do have Justin Herbert over him because of what we just talked about.
That's how I feel that. I'm like,
and what we just talked about, I was like trying to get as much words out as before I burp. I think it comes out worse that way. I should just take my time. But yeah, so Justin Herbert, I mean, he has all these things going for him. But dude, if you tell me I can get 2 rounds later, Trevor Lawrence. So Trevor Lawrence, he finished as fantasy quarterback number 8 last year. Like, oh my god, dude, that's amazing. I would have, and it was all like in the second half of the season was where he really turned around, Jason. And his completion percentage went from 59% his rookie year to 66%. His yards per attempt 5.2 to 7.3. So
those are big.
Those are huge. And then the TD rate 2% to 4.3%. So yeah, like this is a second year. Now he's going to have a second year in the Doug Peterson system, which he obviously flourished in. Considering what it was. So where he's going right now, he is the end of a tier. And where you want to get value in a fantasy draft is at the end of a tier. Because that's it. Like, your tier, like, yeah, like, dude, like Trevor Lawrence. And he has a potential, like him and Justin Herbert are one of few quarterbacks, Jason, that could be considered a top quarterback next season. When we're talking about quarterbacks, they could push themselves into to the Burrows and stuff like that. I don't see a lot of quarterbacks after this tier doing that. So that's like the difference there. Also, last thing is he's got -1 rest days. So we're looking at rest days right now, like advantage. He's pretty much average. That's fine with me. So yeah, he doesn't have the greatest strength of schedule. But for quarterbacks, I was talking about this. I really care about that in like skill positions. But with quarterbacks, dude, it's like you got to score points no matter what, unless you're just going against like some lights out defense. Like the way the rules are today, quarterbacks get their points regardless. Like there's going to be garbage time. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. So
yeah.
As far as that's concerned, I'm not really too concerned about that. And the way he made leaps last season and now another year in the system, going into the tier in round 8, if you could wait till round 8 to get your quarterback, and it's Trevor Lawrence, man, like you're set up for success. So that was my guy for mid-round gyms.
Mid-round gyms.
I wish they were all named Jim.
I know. Mid-round Jim Halperds. The Jim Halperds.
Oh, man, I picked this up, and I'm like, God, I'm out of beer.
I was like, dang, that was pretty quick.
It's right here.
Yeah, we both love Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville is probably going to win that division again. This year, Trevor Lawrence is going to probably do even better because, like you said, he's on his second year with Doug Peterson, and he's getting Calvin Ridley this year.
Oh,
fresh
Jason.
off the block.
Good pick.
Yeah. Unfortunately, was it the first year was like Urban Meyer was his head coach and just kind of just like ruined that whole organization, but they got rid of him, brought in Doug. Doug is the guy who apparently, if you want someone to blossom as a quarterback, you get Doug Peterson because he had a great year last year. He's going to have an even better year this year, and he's going 2 rounds after Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's gone in your draft. Go ahead, pick up tight end, running back, wide receiver, and then just in the 8th round, get Ty Lawson. That's a cornerback. This is Trevor Lawson.
Lawrence.
Oh, my God.
I do want to say, Urban Meyer, when Jason Meyer, and gutted that team last year. I was like sitting here thinking, how am I going to do this?
They did, man. They broke Jacksonville. But yeah, like I said, if Justin Herbert's gone, you are able to pick up another running back, another wide receiver, go after your tight end, and then get Trevor Lawrence in the 8th round. I'm perfectly okay with that because I think last year Trevor Lawrence even ended in the top 10. I think he was like 8th.
It was number 8, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, dude, he was probably top 5. He was probably top 4 for like the last. I was trying to find that stat because I remember it was out last year, but I think he was like top 4 like the last like 5 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, he's going to do even better this year. Add another weapon, he's going to do even better this year.
All right, Mr. Jason.
Okay.
The lucky bastard here is going to tell you what running back in the mid-rounds could help your team. So this is very important. I think running back is probably the most important this year because Jason and I are kind of preaching on, taking a wide receiver early, maybe waiting on running backs because they've been so like erratic lately.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is kind of an important place. Like if you want to pick multiple running backs in this spot and try to hit on one. So Jason, who's yours?
So you're exactly right. Each year it looks like the value in running back just keeps getting less and less because the wide receiving core is just killing it every year. So who I got in the 6th round is running back Miles Sanders for the Carolina Panthers. Last year he went in the 8th round in 2022, and this guy obviously killed it for the Eagles. He finished the 10th overall in running backs. So his ADP. But now he left that team and he went to the Carolina Panthers. And the good thing about that is that he's going to have more pie. He's going to have more pie, right? He's not sharing with 4 other running backs and the quarterback, right? It's him, Hubbard,
No, I'm just saying. Sorry.
I know but that's my point. Is that like it's mainly going to be him, and Hubbard's going to get in some spells. There's probably going to be that other guy, Shearwood or Blackwood.
Blackshear. No,
yeah,
Blackshear was off of. Wasn't he the running back behind Saquon?
No, that was like Brightwell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's Blackshear then. You're right.
So yeah, and they added more weapons, of course, to the Carolina Panthers because they also drafted Bryce Young. With that being said, about Bryce Young, ESPN writer says the Panthers they see Miles Sanders as a safety blanket for Bryce Young. And Tyler, you should know this. Who was like Bryce Young's like number 1 target last year at Alabama?
Yeah, so Jahmyr Gibbs was the best wide receiver, the most productive wide receiver for Alabama last season. That's a good point.
Yeah, and last year the guy leading in targets for a running back was Chuba Hubbard. And he led the team with 17 targets. He only had 17 targets last year.
That's all he had. Well, I know he was injured for most of the year, but he's a pass-catching running back.
Yeah, he only had 17 targets. So the coaching staff, they're trying to get the goal. Their goal is to get Miles Sanders back to his rookie season where he caught 50 passes. So if they could think of him as a safety blanket, and they're trying to get him back to like the 50 passes of his like rookie year. So last year, he didn't have that. I think he only had like 10, 20 catches. So now just think about the additional points that he's going to get from the receiving and catching aspect to this. So this is a guy I think is going to be a great target for the mid-6th round for a running back.
Well, Jason, I totally agree with you. And, so they're going to be protecting their who's the tight end in Carolina?
It's your homie.
Who?
Hayden Hurst.
Oh, it is Hayden Hurst. Yeah, I was like, if they didn't get a tight end, I was like, oh my God, dude, watch this. But no, you're right. So they've got a safety blanket there. But Miles Sanders, man, like before I could choose who I wanted to, I like had his name written down here, and I was going to write all about him. And I was going to wait until you wrote me back about who your guys were. So I think Miles Sanders is like the ceiling is there, dude. Like you can pick him up. What round was he going?
He was like mid-6.
So like mid-6th round, and he's at the top of the depth chart, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
For a team with an offensive head coach in a terrible division with a rookie quarterback, like that's an amazing situation. So I do think that you should invest in Miles Sanders for it. What did you say, 6th round?
Yeah.
6th round, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets up to maybe the 5th. I think that everybody is going to be – I think out of all the positions, running backs are going to be going up until the draft. Mm-hmm. That's how it is every year. And we forget what it's like, but it's like, dude, we are trained in our fantasy minds to pick running backs early. So that it's just going to be – until we break that habit, it's just going to be the way it is. I'm not going to do it. But I guarantee that that's going to be like, when we're looking at ADPs later, he's going to be up there.
Are you willing to reach for Miles Sanders?
I would pick him in the 5th round.
I think I would too.
Yeah, if he goes 5th round, I think that's where it's. But we're talking about him being a value right now in the 6th. Because I'm thinking in the 4th, there's actually some decent stuff going on in the 4th. I can't remember what it is right now. Plus, like, I don't know when I'm going to get George Kittle, but I would still rather get George Kittle over Miles Sanders.
But you would get George Kittle before the 6th round anyway.
Yes. Yeah. I think so I think it'd come down to 5th round between George Kittle and Miles Sanders. I think that's what it's coming down to. And I'd probably go George Kittle, but if George Kittle's gone and the tight ends I want are gone, I would definitely try to get Miles Sanders. So I think that's a great pick, Jason.
Who you got?
So this is a very popular pick here, but like okay. I'm just going off of like I'm doing a lot of fantasy mock drafts, and this is like a locked in for me. Like I don't even think about it. I scroll down a little bit and I just pick this dude, Rachaad White. So they did not draft another running back, to really compete with him. Yeah. We saw his talent last season. He didn't really average a lot in. So the scary thing is yards per carry was like 3.7. Wasn't that great? And then he's getting Baker Mayfield, who didn't even throw to freaking Christian McCaffrey, Jason. You know what I'm saying? So like, I do not, and he's got great wide receivers there. I don't see a lot of catches here, even though Rachaad White here, like one of his best stats is he had 58 targets as a running back and caught 50 of them. So like that's like
100%.
That's like top 5 in like catching passes. So I mean that's great. Tampa Bay ranked 25th in run blocking last season, so that was a terrible year for them. That's why I want to kind of say like about his yards per carry. So they had Jensen out most of the year. They had Wirfs out like a lot of the year. And then they drafted that, you've seen him, Jason, I'm sure, that redhead from like North Dakota State.
Yeah, the guy missing on the stage right here.
He's like all over Facebook, all over Reddit.
The guy that hit puberty and like grew into a man.
Yeah. He went into college with teeth. He came out without teeth.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Anyways, he's an amazing offensive lineman. I think they picked him in like the 2nd round or something like that. So they're back to investing into the offensive line. Baker Mayfield's there. I'm sure they don't want him throwing the ball a ton. I really like Rachaad White going in. Wow. Where is he going? Round 7. So the Buccaneers picked him up in the 3rd round. He was the 4th running back taken last year behind Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, and then Cook. So like as far as talent goes, like they heavily invested into him.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, being the 4th running back off the thing.
That's what this does, man.
So last thing I'm going to say, he's one of 11 rookies since in the last 10 years to get 50-plus receptions in his rookie year.
Dang.
So, like, you think in 10 years, and this is like the year this is like all these pass-catching running backs and everything. So, like, I'm telling you, he really is a pass-catching specialist. The only problem is they got a new offensive coordinator, Jason. They got him from the Seahawks. The Seahawks offense did really well, but they were only 18th in running the ball. So that's like a little bit worse than halfway. You know,
Do you happen to know the
worse than
name
average.
to that?
It was Corradell, Corradelli or something like
Because
that.
I think I remember that.
I didn't write his name down because I didn't think anybody would know him. So
Yeah, I think I put that down earlier this year, but yeah.
So yeah, -6. He's -6 in the rest day advantage. I'm still don't like -6 is. I still count that as average pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about our next dude. And I think that once you get to double digits, I think that actually matters. So yeah, I think that Rachaad White being a number 1 running back dude on a team in a terrible division, going in the 7th round. Like, if you're going to be waiting on running backs, you get Miles Sanders and Rachaad White, dude.
Same division.
Exactly. So, like, yeah, like you might not have the dominant top 5 running back, but you're going to have a couple top 20s, you know?
Yeah, you're going to have 2 starting running backs.
Yeah, if you give me 2 top 20 running backs and some, like, amazing wide receivers, like, that's where, like, I think that's where fantasy is going. I think fantasy is, yeah, like, that's great. There's, like, what 5 workhorse running backs, and if you don't get that, dude, it's just kind of a whatever. So it's like, I would love to know the stats of workhorse running back owned by fantasy championships over the last like 5 years, dude. We need get our team on that. Get our team on that.
Get it back. Come on.
His wife is in the room talking to somebody. I don't know. Maybe we can get her.
Need you to Google something.
I can text my wife. She'll come back in about 3 years.
I do really like this pick. You know, part of the reason why he was so good on the on the receiving side last year is because he was considered the number 2 running back, but also Tom Brady threw the ball 50 times a game. We're not going to get that this year with Baker Mayfield. I don't think Brian. Oh my God!
It's not Brian Flores.
It's
Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles. Yeah, Todd Bowles is not going to want Baker Mayfield to throw the ball 50 times. I don't blame him. The game against Seattle last year, though, he showed that he could carry the load, and he carried the ball like 20 times. They had over 100 rushing yards in that game. So him being young, I don't think they are afraid to give this guy the ball a lot of times. You know, a lot of handoff, a lot of runs in the game. They did pick up an offensive lineman, like you said, so they're going to try to improve on that. But even if his passing goes down, I think he's going to definitely get more running attempts this year than he did last year.
You hit on something big, Jason. Was Todd Bowles as the coach there, and Tom Brady's gone. So Tom Brady's influence on the offense is gone, and they have a defensive head coach. So I would expect the running to go up. Really, I mean,
absolutely,
yeah. So, and I think that was it the Germany game that he started in? Because I remember Rich Eisen talking about
it was just the game
he fell
against Seattle. I don't remember
because the Germany game he like stiff armed somebody, and he was like he talked to him the next week. He's like, you threw him out of the club. That's when you tossed him out of the club. You bounced him out of the club. And it was just like he fell in love with Rachaad White. That's probably why I like Rachaad White so much, because I listen to Rich Eisen so much. Shout out TJ Jefferson. What'd you do right there? Was that a C or a high?
It meant to be. It meant to be a J, but I like started to cramp, so I was like, yeah, and I couldn't straighten out my hand, so I meant to do TJ.
All right, people, on to the wide receivers. So we went through the quarterbacks, the running backs, wide receivers, Captain Insano. That's what I feel like I'm doing right now. Like,
Captain Insano, yeah.
He does not fear his opponents.
All right, so we're on the wide receivers.
Who is your mid-round gem, Jason?
Okay, it is, and this one's kind of, oh my God, this is tough for me to even talk about because I drafted this guy last year, and I think around week 6, I dropped his butt. I was like, get out of here, boy. Wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, Broncos, for the Denver Broncos. He's going around the 8th round. Okay, so I'm sitting here. I had this guy last year. Me and Tyler both were very big on the Broncos last year, and they let us down and everything. I even had Russell Wilson, and I was just like, I'm surprised. Yeah, P.U. You boys stink. P.U.
What's that off of?
Oh, my God.
Boys stink.
P.U. Yeah. Oh, my God. It's like some...
It's a parody of something.
It's on the show. Oh, it's D from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think there's
it's a talent show.
Yeah.
For the beauty contest.
Yeah, boys stink. P.U. Yeah, that's right.
Dude, that's a deep cut.
Yeah.
It's a deep cut.
Deep cut. So last year he went in a ninth round in 2022, and he finished 18th overall in wide receivers. Basically, he did a lot better after I dropped him. But the important thing is that I wanted to throw out here is that in the last 5 games of the season in 2023, he averaged 8 targets a game. And 2 or 3 of those games, he had over 100 yards. One of those games, I believe it was against the Cardinals, he had 3 touchdowns. So it looked like towards the end, he was really starting to build a rapport with Russell Wilson, which is good. You know, it's finally something was kind of clicking. Yeah, I was like, no. Between him and Russell Wilson. What else? So then, of course, you know, you got the famous genius. Sean Payton is now the coach for the Denver Broncos. And the first thing that Sean Payton wanted to do, he wanted to work on the O-line in the offseason, and he did. And what I think the most important thing is that they picked up the 5th-year option for Jared Jeudy. So Sean Payton and his crew, they are really liking Jared Jeudy, I guess, from what they see. And they were like, we want this guy to continue to be on our team and stay. And I'm going to text Brady to get it. No, I'm going to get Brady.
Pizza's here.
It's pizza time. Yeah, so what I say, they picked up his 5th-year option, so they are definitely interested in keeping this guy and see what they could do with him. And then another thing is that the AFC West is kind of a high offense division. You know, there's a lot of offense in that league, so there's going to be games where there's going to be probably a lot of scoring in it. In the fantasy playoffs, he's going to have the Lions and the Raiders in the fantasy playoffs. And the other 2 people that were there, I was like, okay, if I'm not going to get Jerry Jeudy, who else am I going to get around the 8th round? Michael Pittman Jr.
I almost flipped them off.
Pass. And then maybe Brandon Cooks, but I don't know. I feel like, of course, Brandon Cooks is going to be a step behind CeeDee Lamb in that Cowboys offense, where I think Jerry Jeudy's really stepped up and looks like he's going to likely be the main guy. So I went with Jared Jeudy.
So I did hear.
Just tell me to stop.
No, I was waving. This is me waving my hand. Raising my hand.
Stop. Okay.
Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott. Did you guys hear about? Did you hear that?
What happened?
He's like, oh yeah, Mike McCarthy. You know, he hasn't called plays since 2019 or 18. He's calling the plays now. And apparently, it's hard for Dak Prescott to even understand what he's saying. Did you hear that?
Yeah, because he's always talking about this.
Dude, oh my God, man. I was like, are you telling me that Mike McCarthy... So they're going from Kellen Moore to Mike McCarthy. I have big question marks about the Cowboys' offense. I think their defense is going to be good.
There's a little bit more to even go with that, too. Because
I'm serious, dude. Like, because we were talking about Tony Pollard now and stuff. It's like, dude, I've got big question marks about Mike McCarthy leading an offense. Like, I do not want... I don't know. I'd want to get good value on all those players if I'm going to draft them, because I am probably not going to draft a Cowboys offensive player this year.
They actually have like video of Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott like sitting at a table like trying to discuss like what is going on, and like Mike McCarthy's like, oh, no,
dude, he's got like no confidence.
It's Michael Scott to
Derek Johnson. It's like, huh? You can't be wrong if you don't hear me.
Right. Okay, so the one thing that I really wanted to say about that is that apparently they are all in on Mike McCarthy, because Mike McCarthy, I guess, was saying part of the reason last year they went 12-5, but they're saying part of the reason why like they got demolished in like the San Francisco game. They were talking about like play calling, right? And they're talking about even focusing on running the ball more. This team already ran the ball like 45 times or 45% of the time last year. So I think Mike McCarthy, I think they're going all in on Mike McCarthy. And if this is not the year that something magical happens with the Cowboys, no one else to blame. Kellen Moore ain't there no more. He's a play caller. If they don't, do better than the Eagles, actually make it NFC Conference Championship in the game, Mike McCarthy's probably going to be gone next year.
You heard it from the Cowboys fan. No magic in Dallas means Mike McCarthy is gone. He's going to be disappear. It's going to be if he doesn't come up with magic, Jerry Jones is going to make him disappear.
Uh-huh.
Do you like that?
But in the end, yeah, Jerry Jeudy, I think, are around that pick because, Michael Pittman Jr. was there and Brandon Cooks was there. I think I'd rather have Jerry Jeudy in the 8th round.
So Jerry Jeudy in the 8th round is like, dude, I had Cortland Sutton last year, and Jerry Jeudy outperformed Cortland Sutton. Draft capital's there. It's like he was literally supposed to be the next Jerry Rice. And now he's got Sean Payton, who literally makes like number 1 wide receivers out of nobodies. So maybe, like, I think that the potential is there. I mean, if you're if you're drafting any Denver Broncos this season, you're going to get value because how bad they did last year. So I think it's a great pick, and I would not mind having Jerry Jeudy as my wide receiver number 2. I would love wide receiver number 3, but say I'm drafting quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers early. It's like, dude. Something's got to sacrifice. You're gonna have to creed something. You have to sacrifice it.
Something's got to give. Something's got to give. Ah! Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Anyway, if you're going wide receiver in the 1st round, you're like the likelihood of Jerry Jones being your 3rd wide receiver. Jerry Jeudy is likely going to be your flex wide receiver.
You would just stand out there and pay the cornerback bill. I'll give you $50,000.
You go.
Let me get by you for 2 seconds. Yeah. And then you throw him, hit him in the hands, and it'd break his hands probably. Turn into a cloud of dust would pop up like he just had a chalk in his hands. But you know what? That's all his dead skin cells just entering the atmosphere. Same thing happens when he farts.
He actually loses his balance when he farts.
SpaceX, eat your heart out. That's rocket launch, kids.
Okay. Ooh, we got one more person. Tyler, who's your wide receiver?
So, I was going to try to think of one of his songs, but I literally can't think of a Drake song. Something at all.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Forever, man. That's always like forever, man.
Like a sprained ankle ain't nothing to play with. I think that's how it goes. Break. Like a sprained ankle ain't nothing to play with. Yeah, that's it.
He must have sprained his ankle real bad on Nickelodeon because he couldn't.
He was in a wheelchair because of it. On Degrassi, he sprained.
Round 7. You telling me I could get a wide receiver 1 round 7, middle of round 7?
Who is it?
It's Drake London, your boy.
Oh, yeah.
Your boy. It's your boy. When Drake is in London, it's like the same
Cheerio. Yeah. That's actually a great pick. You were talking about that earlier, and I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, I can't believe this guy's even fallen to, like, the 7th round. It's like he has to get picked there. Right?
It's pretty crazy, Jason. Plus, you think that he did well last year, but it's like, dude, he finished 38th in wide receivers last year. So he started off well, and then he just, like, went into the toilet. He's the toilet man. Toilet man could not.
Mm-hmm. He couldn't get the touchdowns last year. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, he was bad. Even when he did well, he didn't get touchdowns. So
yeah,
8+ targets each of the last 5 games. So when Desmond Ridder actually turned it on, like the biggest benefactor was Drake London. As far as fantasy goes, like the biggest leap for fantasy wide receivers is from year 1 to number 2. This guy has it. He was like, I think, wasn't he the number 1 fantasy receiver drafted last season?
I think so. I think
he was.
He was the first one.
So the draft capital's there. 90+ receptions in 3 of those last 5. So he has the targets. He's getting the receptions. Number 9, Jason, in strength of schedule. I had to do that weird thing. It's like every single, as far as teams go, the Falcons have the number 9 strength of schedule against receiving options. Whatever. Now, this is the bad thing. The Falcons are -12 in rest days. So as far as them traveling and having to come home and play, it's not good. But the good thing about the Falcons, though, Jason, is like, dude, they're super young. Like this guy's like 20, like whatever, and their quarterback's the same age. So like, I don't think that is going to play a huge deal. Like, yeah, like maybe in their defense, but like I don't care. The worse the defense plays, the better the offense plays as far as fantasy goes. So I do see -12, and that scares me. But knowing the age of these people and everything in the division that they're in, I will say it's okay. If you want to wait on wide receivers, you better hit up Drake London in the 7th round, man. Like I don't know how you're going to do any better than that. And Carolina, first round, week 15. Colts, and then Bears. So I would love to go against Carolina.
Yeah.
I'd love to go against the Colts.
Yeah.
And then the Bears, who knows what they're going to be. So I don't know. I mean, it's not bad. And it's not historically great defenses. So.
But you're not worried about it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So, like, with the youth, I don't factor that in. He's going so late. And we're talking about running backs going up, in the draft, before the draft. I don't see wide receivers doing the same thing. So I think he's going to stay in the 7th round pretty much. He might go late 6th. But, like, I don't care, dude. Like, I think I would pick him up in the 5th, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that is a ridiculous value.
Yep. The value is ridiculous.
Full of surprises.
Full of surprises. It's ridiculous.
What do you have to say? Because that's the end of the show, Jason. What do you have to say about that?
We should have just made this about the NFC South. It's like three of our players are coming from there. So if there's like anything to take away from this, if you want to draft some players in the mid round, get them from the AFC
Why do I
South.
think this is the South? If I had like
because of Ludacris, like roll them bows.
Throw them both.
Yeah, Southern hospitality.
You got something with a something, then you got something with a something.
Throw them bows. something. Throw them bows.
We're drunk.
You got to accept this.
This is what the people want.
This is what they want. This is what they've been asking for.
There's somebody in the background, so we're telling them why we're acting this way.
One of the 200 people here were picking a certain individual out and telling them why we're acting like this.
Tyler? Oh, heckler. I was all, Tyler, I know I am the problem.
Are you heckling?
I am aware I'm the problem. All right, people. That was the show. Hey, we're going to talk about this again, but like, dude, if you like or subscribe to this show, like it literally puts us out to like 100 more people, and it helps us out so much. Like that happened to us the other day. We got 26 likes and 3 subscribers. If we get out to people, at least we'll get like we will grow. Like I mean, we're not probably. Who knows if by the time we get to 300,000 subscribers, we will be worth it. But we got to get to that point, man.
We'll get to that point.
Yeah. And hey, man, please help this show. And like this was big for us. We're together right now, so let us know if you like that or not. If you don't, suck it.
Too bad. Every 9 months, this is happening.
This is the Jason Tyler baby coming out every 9 months. So. It's one ugly baby.
It's one, but at least he'll be tall. You can play some basketball or something.
I guess. All right, people. Fantasy Football and Show. We appreciate you. We're out of here. Catch you on the flip side.
Eat some pizza.
Me hanging up the phone. Double fisting. Double fist. Double fist.
And I'm grabbing the phone, ripping the cord out of the wall, putting it around my neck, and throwing it. Because we're out of here.